Thank you, snowboarding.
Thank you, snowboarding.
Snowboarding.
Hey friends, how are you doing? My name is Chris Cracknell. You are back with Thank You Snowboarding. Over the winter, we bring you a weekly look into the history and culture of UK snowboarding. From the first people hand-building boards back in the 80s to the current crop of rippers that we have that are dominating the world of competitive snowboarding. Not to mention all the free riders, seasonaires, industry people and associated hangers-on that make up this colourful scene. We do this, of course, with the very kind help of everyone at the Snowboard Asylum who have been looking after snowboarders in the UK and Europe since the start. So we are very pleased that they look after us too. So this week is with a guy called Ash Strain. He was in a band called Strain back in the 90s. And he worked for Document Snowboard magazine as, I think he was in ad sales, but he was basically around the scene always. And I didn't really know him, but his name came up a few times and our paths have definitely crossed before. And I think it was Russ Shea said that I should be talking to him. Russ Shea, who was a couple of episodes ago, was like, you definitely need to talk to Ash. And so we caught up over the summer and it's an interesting conversation talking about his story, but it's a story that increasingly kind of goes south really, and there is a lot of talk about alcoholism, alcohol addiction, and so if that's a subject that you find tricky or triggering, then we talk about it quite a lot, and Ash's story is quite full on. So if that is something that's triggering for you, then either give this episode a miss or look in the show notes, and there's going to be some signposting to services that you might be able to get help from if you recognise anything in this. And I just thought I'd mention that first and foremost, because I think snowboarding, as we talk about, and I've talked about with other people as well, I think snowboarding certainly through the 90s, early 2000s certainly was a place where people who enjoyed a drink could kind of go unnoticed, because everybody, it felt to me like everybody was enjoying a drink quite a lot. And when you're out in the mountains on a season, well, it's a holiday every day. So I felt it was really important to tell this tale, because I think as age catches up with us all, a lifestyle of what seems like innocuous boozing or substance abuse can be catching up with you and taking its toll. And I thought it was important to kind of leave this in as raw as it is and to tell that story. So yeah, there'll be some signposts in the show notes if you need them. That's about all I can say. But Ash is a funny guy. He's certainly lived his life and he's got lots of tales to tell, and it was great to have him on. So I'll be back at the end with some housekeeping and stuff. I've had a really, really fun week this week. Just before doing this, I'll tell you about that at the end, about an upcoming episode. But for now, we're going to get into it with Ash Strain. A life in snowboarding that nearly cost him everything. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm good. You're
resplendent in your SS20 t-shirt, I can see.
Gotta represent, Chris. Gotta represent.
Okay, so let's start there then. How do you go back to SS20?
Okay. What happened was I was working in my little shop in Cheltenham. Not my shop, I was working for a shop in Cheltenham. And an old mate came in, a guy called Steve Hughes, and he said, the old skater who I used to skate with back in the 70s, showing me his hair there. The late 70s, and he said, do you know they're doing snowboarding up at the Gloucester Dry Slope?
Yeah.
I said, no, but I'm in. Let's go. So we did. We started going up there. So I skipped a little bit, really, because years before I used to go up to SS20 with Paul Mucker's Swanee. We used to go up in his Capri and stuff. And we'd been to Mons Ramp, I think, as well. But we used to go to SS20 for just skate stuff, and hang out a little bit. But we didn't really know anyone back then. Thanks, Rich. Then years later, like I say, skipping forward, years later, I went up to Gloucester Dry Slope and had some lessons and was instantly hooked. So much so that was it. I wanted to be a snowboard instructor. I was being taught by a guy called Carl Ringleberg. Have you ever come across Carl?
No, that's a name I haven't heard.
Really?
Oh, you've frozen
a
up.
scener, as it were. But, he did actually open a shop in Gloucester for a short time. But anyway, he knows Eddie and people like that, Okay. And the Swell Panic guys he's really in with. So he taught me anyway, and there's a guy called Clive teaching me as well. And so I started going back, being the chopsy fucker that I am, back down the pub every night after having these snowboard lessons. And I just sort of accumulated a few friends who all went to snowboarding. So, and at the time I was, playing in my bands and stuff. So anyway, then I decided that's it. I'm going to be a snowboard instructor. This is the life for me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So off I went and learned to be a snowboard instructor. And Carl eventually went. Clive, the guy who I bought my first board off, which was a Morrow Spoon.
I don't suppose you've still got it, have you? I always wanted one of those.
No. It's a chance, Lady P. Zoe Pritchard's got it. There's a chance. I'll ask her. Oh, it's now anyway, won't she? She'll soon let me know. I'll ask her. If she has, then I'm sure we can disappear it from wherever it is.
But let's go back to the skating. You said you were a skater in the 70s.
Yeah, I used to compete a little bit and stuff.
Did you?
Freestyle, yeah. Couldn't ride a ramp because there wasn't one in Gloucester.
So did you know... oh, man, I interviewed him last season. I can't remember his name. My memory's absolutely shit.
Yeah,
let me find...
that's me. No.
Let me find. That's not good enough to forget ex-guests' voices. That really isn't good enough.
Should we restart?
Ian Cocking.
Oh, yes, I know of. I don't know him as...
Okay, because he sort of came out of skateboarding back then as well. I wondered if your paths had crossed.
I'm sure they probably have somewhere along the line, but I couldn't say, I see Ian Cocking just stood there.
Right, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what was the scene like in Gloucester at the time then?
What, for skating?
Yeah, just paint a picture of that.
Well, everybody around me skated, all my friends.
Yeah.
Ian McLean and people like that, Andy Mathias and Rob Priest. I could name hundreds, Les House. And, but then there was a guy who started the North Gloucestershire Skateboard Association. Just trying to remember his name, Rich.
Hold tight. The North Gloucester... I mean, that's a niche association, right?
Mighty NGSA.
You didn't fancy having South Gloucester involved?
That would mean Bristol. I know that wouldn't have existed then, South Gloucestershire then. But yes, it was great fun. It was just Saturday afternoon at the leisure centre, you know what I mean? It's all flat and dry inside. There was a guy it was a mate of my mum's actually, a guy called Ozzy, this Argentinian guy. He built this huge ramp. I think he built two actually. And we actually got him up to our school fete at one point at Brockworth Comprehensive. But there's a guy called Ozzy, and he built these two big ramps. And I was a scrawny little shit.
Yeah.
Really little when I was that age, and so I just didn't have any strength to get very high up a ramp. Yeah, but I used to have a go. Always did. But I could sort of like do 1 foot manuals forever, and
Yeah.
those sort of 70s tricks, and daffies and stuff like that forever. and nose wheelies and stuff like that. But skating in the 70s was.
Did any of those people follow you into snowboarding, or did you sort of blaze a trail?
The guy, Steve Hughes, who I mentioned right at the beginning, come snowboarding. Yeah, he was there at the time, and Marcus and a few. That was all the Cheltenham crew. Who else was Dench Brothers, Les House again. But did they go into snowboarding? Well, like I say, Steve did. Who else? And then probably went into snowboarding. I really don't know.
No.
Good question. Yeah, I'd love to know if anybody hears it. Who knows?
Yeah. Get in touch if you know more history about that. And what sort of era when you started snowboarding? What sort of time? What year was that?
I think it was 94. I seem to remember.
Okay, that's a period sort of where I sort of did my first season, so that's sort of what I know about that time.
Yeah, it's about there, I'm pretty sure. But we developed this scene up at Gloucester, which basically started out as me and my mates in the bar.
Well, Gloucester's a good slope, isn't it? Out of all the dry slopes, it seemed like it was really well maintained.
Yeah,
had a good sort of scene around it.
And they had proper groundsmen and stuff around because of the golf course, you see, so it was always pretty well maintained and stuff.
Yeah.
But the management was super cool up there. They always, let's get on with things.
So they embraced it, did they? And just
Yeah, especially when they saw many people I was dragging up for lessons. I used to get everything for free. But this was just the beginning, Chris.
And was it free? Like, were you, when you were teaching people, were you then sort of building ramps and?
No, I mean, if I said I was a freestyle snowboarder, I'd be completely and utterly lying. But I was really good at teaching people.
Right. Okay.
I came from the side you did a little bit more, which is the music side. That's me, really.
Okay.
That's my side. But snowboarding was just a bonus.
Because how did you sort of get involved in the scene? Because I know we had a chat on the phone last week, and your name sort of came up a lot. And Russ Shea said that we should speak to you, and I know, I know your name came up a lot in the magazine, like certainly in sort of document magazine, like that side of it, as opposed to White Lines, because we talked about that.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know sort of what you did or sort of how you got into being sort of talked about in the magazines and things like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't really know what you did. I know you were in a band called Strain, right?
Yeah. Now, let me just put the record straight on this.
Okay.
Strain. The band was named after me. Not my choice. I was outvoted by the record people in bloody Singer and stuff. So I'm not. All right, I was outvoted, but anyway, I was talking to Dave a few weeks ago. We said about today. I said, "Shit, name Dave." He said, "Yeah, we really didn't think that went through, did we?"
No, but do you know what the thing is with names? Yeah. Like, you can tie yourself in knots trying to think of names. I remember when we started the chalet, we were like, "What are we going to call it?" Yeah, and we settled on the name Chill Chalet, and you just think. When you think about it, you're like, oh, that's a bit shit, isn't it, really? Or I'm sure we could have done better than that. But it just sort of, other people don't think about it. It just becomes a name as much as a name for any. And your band being called Strain, that seems like if I think about sort of bands at the time, that seems like a pretty reasonable name for a band to be called. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, at the time, it probably was, but.
Well, probably now. Do you know what I mean?
You'd
have had to be the Strain at some point, I think, in the music industry.
But no, it was great fun. That band was great fun, so much fun.
Because that seemed to go kind of hand in hand with the snowboarding scene. You sort of played a lot of parties and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the scene from Gloucester? Because there didn't seem to be, were there many sort of competitions heading down there, like the BSA Summer Series and whatnot?
There was always a BSA comp, and there was a few local comps because we had a couple of shops competing for the turf, i.e. SS20 and Legends and Cheltenham. And, Dan Hopkins and all those boys were the Charlton boys and legends, and we were all the SS20 crew. But I'll tell you what, we had it sewn up. We had it sewn up because if somebody went to SS20 from Gloucester and took their petrol receipt, they automatically got that off whatever they bought.
No way. I didn't know that.
Nothing for them to go there. And you've already interviewed Mon, haven't you? Yeah.
I have, yeah. We spoke to him, when was that? Last season, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah. Mon was quite pleased with the takings in my first season's teaching. I owned my snowboards, believe me.
Yeah, well, he was... we used to travel up to SS20 from... Like, me and my brother bought our boards there, and we'd travel from, like the other side of London to Oxford to go there, because it was just like, that's the shop. Like, there wasn't... At the time, I don't think there was a good shop in London, so you were like, where are we going to go? Well, we'll just get the bus to Oxford.
Yeah, why not?
Go and buy a snowboard and hopefully meet Sean Goff, or... Do you know what I mean? Like, go and bathe in that glory for a little bit. It was amazing. It was just a magical place for me. I mean, I can remember Terry Warner's Sports in St Aldgate Street in Gloucester, and I can remember the smell at the back of the shop because of the smell of the urethane. And if I smell that smell now, I'm 8 years old again. It's brilliant. It is. Woo-hoo-hoo! It's brilliant. I love it. But so yeah, how did you sort of, from teaching at Gloucester, when did you start your band? It was right on that point as well when I started teaching. We started this band, and it was just all went hand in hand and went really well because we were quite happy to go and play. In fact, didn't you play at Chatham? I don't know the date. This is ridiculous, me asking you that, because you're bound to have played at Chatham DJing at some point. But I'm sure we played and you were DJing somewhere, and I think it was Chatham. I think I've played at Chatham. I definitely played at High Wycombe. Yeah, I got a noise complaint at High Wycombe, and I know exactly the track that I played that caused it as well.
I'm pretty sure we played there as well, but by this point, the beers had started kicking in, Chris. I was quite into me getting refreshed. So I might not be remembering solidly.
So I've warmed up for you, have I? That's amazing.
Yeah. No, I think you played after us, actually.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, I think you were after, yeah. I know.
You warmed up for me then?
We left late afternoon. We did like an afternoon slot into the evening, and evening we left, yeah.
See, Chatham was I really liked Chatham. They had a good slope, they had a good kicker on it. And it was like a really good long run. So
yeah.
Like you could really get some speed up there, and it was good. I remember enjoying Chatham. Not that we went that often, considering like it wasn't actually that far from us.
Yeah.
Well, like with everything, you just go to the closest one, don't you? And that was for us was Bromley, so that's where we just hung out.
Yeah, fair enough.
But So really... was it your band that sort of playing in your band that sort of moved you into the scene, as it were?
No, that was. No, what happened was it was more to do with Eddie, really.
Okay. Eddie Spearing, we're talking.
Yeah,
about.
Eddie Spearing. Yeah, Eddie. It's very often send people. I think she wants the dog.
Looks like it.
Go away.
I thought I could hear something snoring or sort of breathing.
She was quite happy. Not anymore. Go away. Anyway, Eddie started sending people to Gloucester a lot, and then sending people for me to teach them to teach, if you like, Okay. I taught people up at Gloucester. We had a really solid team at Gloucester. There was like me and Neil Hunter and Scott Finley, who then became Dr. Finley on the community snowboard camps.
Right.
And Kerry, and it was good. It was a really, really good, solid team. But so Eddie started sending people up, and I started teaching people to teach. And one of which I think his name was Simon. He ended up doing a bit of photo editing at SUK, Snowboard UK. And he still owes me a record, come to think of it. Anyway, but yeah, Eddie started sending, and so I started talking to Eddie.
Yeah.
No, I've forgotten a bit. No, it's SS20. It's all SS20. Sorry. Eddie started sending people, so I was getting to be known by Ian and people like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a job came up at Surf Sales for Nitro down in Hoxton.
Yeah.
I forgot. Bloody hell, that nearly went out my head. So Sean and Mon had said to Graham Fuller, this guy. So that was it. That's how I got into that. It was through into the business, was through Nitro, really.
So you worked for Nitro?
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know that.
You were there, and that was well, it should have been a really happy time, but went through a divorce right at that point.
Oh, man. I'm sad to hear that. But Nitro and Surf Sales, they were sort of, it always felt like they were a bit outside of the spectrum. Like, it didn't feel like they, and this is just how I perceived it, but it didn't feel like they sort of did what everyone else did. Like, everyone else would go to dry slopes and they'd, and trade shows. And it always felt like Nitro was a bit of a separate thing. I never really got the handle on.
Yeah, but Graham always used independent guys until I came along. Then I started going to places.
Right.
That's when it started. But then I was only there for a very, very short time. I let Graham down quite badly, if I'm honest. I could have, I just wasn't in the right place. I shouldn't have taken the job. But anyway, we still talk to this day. So, there's no...
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. There's no problems there. But yeah, I felt I let him down a bit. Sorry, G. Anyway, so with that, back to Gloucester. Woo! And what did we do next? Oh, then Sean, Dave and Mon come up with, we'll open you a shop in Gloucester. So I'm like, yeah, game on. So we tried to get what used to be called the Bartletts, I think, owned it, in the ski centre. And that would have been ideal. Really nice little manageable one-man shop.
Yeah.
2 people on a Saturday sort of thing. It would have been cool. And they had this annexed car park. And so then we were like, skate park, here we go. New manager took over. His name was also Barber, coincidentally. What was his name? Can't remember, it doesn't matter. Anyway, took over the management of the ski centre and was keen to, change things around a bit. And the idea of this, we paid for the skate park that attract people to his business. He was like, yeah, game on.
Yeah.
Anyway, for some reason that didn't happen. I can't remember what happened. But then Eddie happened again.
Eddie happened.
We were out in Worcester somewhere. Oh, kidding. No, we were out in Worcester. And we were still on the steps of the side. I don't know why we were there. No clue. Anyway, had a few beers by then. And he said, yeah, we're going to start this magazine because, and Eddie's story about why he wanted to start a magazine. I think you've heard it already. And he said, yeah, but we need somebody to sell the advertising. Somebody there, it's looking around like that. And I'm not thinking anything. And then he looked at me, he said, you? I went, what, me? He said, you sell the advertising. And I went, yeah, all right. So that was it. Went up to Fulham, saw Jono Toohey, nicest man in the world. And, had a little interview in the Legless Ladder over the road, the pub, and started at the magazine. But, that was the best job I've ever had.
So was that when it was still Snowboard UK, or...?
No, this is when he started Document.
So that was Document.
That was Document. That was the start of Document, yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that you actually... I knew you had something to do with the mag, but I didn't know that you were the advertising sales.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So what was the band doing? I mean, was that just like a sort of... what do they call it? Like a hobby sort of band? Because I always thought it was quite a serious proposition.
Well, it was. It was exceptionally... There was things that went wrong, but we were having so much fun. But I was drinking too much, and you must have heard of, the Trumpton riots up at Sheffield.
I've not heard them called the Trumpton Riots. When you mentioned that the other day, I was like, is there really a place called Trumpton? Like, I just thought it was a kids' TV program. I was really confused. I sort of take everything quite literally, you see. So
I'm sure
I was a
it's
bit
not
like, fucking hell,
that.
is there actually a place called Trumpton? There can't be.
No, I think
And I was like, there's actual riots there. Fucking hell. Why haven't I heard about this?
Oh yeah, but also, sorry, yeah, I'm going a bit fast here, Chris. Let's go.
No, it's all right. It's good. I like ones that go all over the show. It's good.
Yeah, Rachel said to me, "Don't go all Billy Connolly on him," because I got.
No, see, I like that. And then you got to sort of swoop it round and come back to where you started. I like it.
Hey, now where was I? Get back into it. But yeah, so going back to the band time then, whilst teaching and all that.
Yeah.
We were playing everywhere, anywhere we could. We used to drive to Chester, to the Telford warehouse on a Sunday and play, and then drive home and go to work the next day. I mean, we were hard, this band. We're still, to this day, the only unsigned band to ever sell out the Gloucester Guildhall, and we did that twice.
Nice.
Yeah, no, we were doing good. We were doing all right. And, we were writing new stuff and everything. Anyway. I forgot where I was going with that now.
Well, I was just talking about like how the band, because I thought the band was, like...
Oh, Sheffield.
You were proper, like, kind of touring band.
Well, we didn't actually go on tour. We never actually went on tour, but we played a fuckload of gigs.
Yeah.
Serious amounts of gigs. Like I say, we'd go to Chester on a Sunday night, drive up and drive back.
Yeah.
I worked really hard. I saw the Batmobile on the motorway one time. Anyway, I think it's coming the other way. I nearly knocked Dave out when I pointed at it. I said, "Fucking Batmobile," and nearly smacked in the head. Got a bit excited. But yeah, we did all, we really good band. I get quite sad about that band because it was so much fun. I missed it.
Do you have like I hate to use the phrase, but have you still got a bit of an axe to grind?
No, not really. I mean, the record company employed this manager and she was fucking useless. I'm sorry. I mean, and it's too easy. It's too easy. I'm not going to say it. She was useless and she started seeing our drummer, and that's a fucking kiss of death straight away. And no, it just never going to work. It was horrible.
It's a shame.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's funny how, like, sort of from the outside perspective.
Yeah.
Like, that's, it's like, wow, there's a band called
Anyway,
Sheffield, and they're going and doing
that shit happened, though.
Go on.
We did things like played Sheffield at the finals when it.
At what point did you play?
We were playing when it kicked off. We were on stage. Yeah.
So you were the soundtrack to the riot.
Absolutely.
Now, see, I was going to do a special about the riot, and this is invaluable. However, knowing me, I probably won't ever get round to doing a special about it.
Mr. Fu, we got the soundtrack in the bag, mate.
No, we should keep a powder dry on that one, and I'll save that for this special that may or may not ever happen. Yeah, that's amazing, though. I mean, that's so funny that you actually soundtracked it. That is fucking class.
Gutted. I'm fucking free beer, and I'm stood here playing to you fuckers. Absolutely pissed off.
I don't think by that point anyone really needed free beer, did they? Everyone was pretty loose already, I think.
No, not really. I just, we actually jumped in the van and drove home. Me and Dr. Finley, Scott, we drove home.
You could get down the hill.
Yeah, we managed to just slip out. Yeah, we were in this little van and snuck out. But got home. Scott didn't drink, so it was happy days,
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I probably slept all the way home.
So what year was that? What year was that?
I think, was that not 96? I can't.
I don't. Do you know what? I have no clue about years and times.
No,
because a lot of people get the. So the year before, Russ Ward had his Caravan, the Discotheque Le Funk that got pushed down the hill.
Yeah, that was so funny.
And people think that all happened in the same year, but I'm 100% sure it didn't happen in the same year.
No, I only saw that in a magazine, so that didn't happen the same year. I saw that in White Lines, I think, first of all.
So tell me more about like running sales for a snowboard magazine, because I mean there was enough business to sort of keep was it even 3 magazines afloat?
Yeah, Snowboard UK, White Lines and Document.
I mean, sort of Snowboard UK kind of started going south after sort
Yeah,
of Document started, didn't it? Really?
yeah, it sort of did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a bit crap really because Carl was editor at Suck and he's such a nice bloke.
Yeah, but yeah, sort of talk to me about kind of selling advertising in the magazines, because like just as I was sort of saying before, like it's pretty crazy that the UK had a scene that supported 3 magazines.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
obviously some of the time you would have been sort of fishing in the same pool for advertising.
Yeah.
So sort of explain to me like the process and sort of the culture around it, because obviously for as much as there's 3 magazines, it's still a
tiny
group of people working in everything, and everyone knows each other. So you can't I'm assuming you can't be like heavy-handed or sort of indulging in skullduggery to try and sort of win stuff.
I mean, I was pretty ruthless at times, mind, and that I didn't feel guilty at the time. Maybe feel a bit guilty now. I was quite ruthless with especially on the internet and stuff, and on the snowboard websites, the ones that ended up being stews. I can't think of what they were called now, but I was quite prolific.
Snowboard Club, that wasn't it?
Yeah. There was all those things. Before that, there was places, and I met hundreds of people through that. In London and stuff. We used to have meetups nearly every other night. Just hang out and have a beer and stuff. It's really good fun, actually. Anyway, quite ruthless with saying you should buy this magazine and you should advertise it. Just there was a few prospective clients there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not important why I'm telling you all that.
Well, I just think it's a snapshot into, because obviously like the Reason magazine still runs, but the whole thing about print media, the fact this is a podcast, not in a magazine, like just sort of trying to paint a picture of what it was like working in a magazine. And obviously your element of it was speaking to brands and trying to, you're obviously trying to make a case of, it's worth advertising with us because we get readers and all that sort of thing. So I'm just interested in the process of it. That's all.
Well, you had to, you go off your rate card and everything. You really, really got to form relationships with people, and I mean, you just had to do whatever you could, really.
Yeah.
Doing contra deals and things like that was great. For competitions and stuff. Used to love doing all that stuff. But you have to really have some good relationships. I mean, for me, it was the best job in the world because it just meant that for the winter, I rang up my mates and see what they wanted to spend, really. I mean, talking to people like Bert Keneally and all, it was great. Used to,
Who was the regular on your inside front cover?
Burton always used to try and take the front, inside front.
Yeah.
Bert always wanted the back, I think. I can't remember now. But that was the other thing, you see. You could offer positions and this and that and the other. But very often, for me, I'd try and find out what we were going to be doing.
Yeah.
And then say, look, that brand would suit that story, you know what I mean? And try and do that. You can try and be a bit clever about it. I think if I went back and did it now, I'd be a lot better at it.
Sure.
But the best job in the world, that was. I loved it.
Were you having to schmooze people, or did you get schmoozed? Like, did you get good free trips and stuff out of it?
Either or. I mean, I used to love taking people out of stuff because it meant a lot for free. Which is how I ended up in France. To me, that was just brilliant. Some clients we really had to take out, like was it Matthias from Adidas when he first took over?
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, you had to really get him on side, but he was actually a really good guy. He just came across a bit weird because he was
deep pockets as well.
Yeah, yeah. But lovely guy. We had some super lunches. But Jono was always good for that. Jono Tui, he's a superstar for that. Always making sure everybody was sorted out. But,
And did you feel kind of a rivalry? I mean, certainly would have been with White Lines because you both existed longer than sort of Snowboard UK, which drifted away.
Well,
Was there sort of a rivalry, or was it all?
For me, no, not with White Lines, because I was actually with Chod the night he got the news from Jim.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
Yeah, we were in Duzalp. That was a fucking awesome trip. That was, and we were in Duzalp in Ian Trotter's. Like, what was this?
Chalet Snowboard.
Chalet Snowboard. Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, we were at Chot's place, and Chod got the news, and so we had to have another beer, I suppose.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I loved it because before I worked at Document, I very often used to get a mention in there for something. Actually, I've been in every snowboard magazine in the UK, and not once am I stood on a snowboard. I'm always
same as me, except once actually. I got a little picture of me doing a hit.
I've even got a West Beach advert, Danny Wheeler West Beach advert. Me stood underneath it. SS20 t-shirt though. Fucking West Beach.
Have you got that kept somewhere?
I've got it on my phone, Chris.
Excellent. Oh, mate, you'll have to send me that.
I will. I'll ping it.
That'll go up on the gram.
I'm pretty sure I've got it. Yeah, I'm sure I've got it. I've definitely got it somewhere. But yeah, that's the other thing you see. It's like, that trip to Trot's place, I went out there with Cole Ringleberg again, and a few others from Gloucester. I can't remember who was on that trip. Johnny Hines was there. Because I took him with me because his dad rang me up and said, would you take him? I thought, you want me to be responsible for a 14-year-old kid? I can't fucking look after myself, man. But anyway, I took him anyway. But what was I going to tell you about that? See, I've gone sidetracked myself.
You were saying about the Chalet Snowboard.
Oh, yeah, that trip. So that's when we all meet. We turn up for that, get picked up from the airport from Grenoble with Martin Drayton. So I'm driving along in the van. I went, oh, you're Martin Drayton, because I'd seen him on the telly. On Board Stupid.
Yeah, of course.
Bless him, Board Stupid. God, I used to love waking up for that.
Yeah, do you know, I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I spoke to Phil Young.
I know, I listened to Phil's interview. I love Phil, he's at the top bloke.
And I'm trying to get hold of Normski because I would love to just know a bit more about that. Because that programme, apparently at the time, it was like the most watched programme on Channel 4.
Well, it was mental, wasn't it?
And it was that perfect kind of Sunday morning, hungover.
Yeah.
Interesting, good music. Like just...
Absolutely was.
And it was showing something that you just couldn't see anywhere else. They were so sort of early to the game with that.
It showed the vibe as much as it showed people riding snowboards. It showed how chilled out things could be in your life.
I think that introduced a lot more people to the idea of doing seasons and the lifestyle of it. Because I think I talked with Phil, and I don't know what your sort of interpretation of it is, but like most snowboarding you see now on the TV, it's a competition.
That's it.
And that is what people then expect. Oh, if I'm a snowboarder, it means I'm competing and doing all that stuff. Whereas I still think to be a snowboarder it's not, like the competition side of it's the least interesting part of it. Yeah,
I mean, I've only been to the Brits a couple of times.
Have you? Which ones did you go to?
Well, I went over with Bud Gallimore and his family to one. That was the one which was all orange. The one I built this.
That was in Lax, wasn't it? I think.
Hey,
was that the one in Lax?
No, Duzalp. It was the
Duzalp. Okay.
That's the one I remember fully.
Yeah.
We all stayed in a big chalet, and it was rather nice. And that was a good fun one. That was with Built This City on Rock and Roll. Was Tim and Ken's video.
Are you in that?
Yeah, well, I jump out just before Weyerhaeuser, and you wouldn't know. It could be fucking kinky.
I'm going to track that down. I think we've got that on our YouTube channel.
It's definitely on YouTube. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Well, yeah. My friend's daughter used to play it on repeat. It used to get right on my tits.
But did you ever do seasons? You've said that you lived in France.
Yeah, no, I never did seasons. What happened was, after the demise of me at Document, when I left Document, should I say, it wasn't a very happy time because I didn't want to go, but I did. I went and lived with my friend Kim, bless her, who's a huge feature in my life. My name is Kim. I went and stayed with her at Muswell Hill, and we decided we'd go to France and have a look over there. So I got a... Come on, Norbert. Come on. You'll only scratch at the door if you didn't get that in. Come on.
Fair enough.
Lie down. Oh, and her.
It was better than scratching the door.
Yeah, was it? Satan. Yeah, sorry. Where were we?
You were in Muswell Hill with Kim.
Oh, yeah. One was the Christmas before, I went out to Serre Chevalier to visit Bud.
Oh, right, yeah.
I just split up with a girl and thought, what shall I do for Christmas? I thought, I don't want to spend it in Gloucester. I've done that 30 plus times.
Yeah,
so I went over to see Bud. He was meant to stay a few days and didn't. Stayed for quite a long time. Ran up a few bar bills and came back. As you do. No, but then I was staying with Kim up in Muswell Hill. She had a plan to go and emigrate to Canada with her 2 kids.
Right.
But it was quite far because for their dad to go and visit, it was a long way to Canada. So
sure.
I said, well, you should come and have a look at Serre Chevalier, because I'd mentioned it to her before.
Yeah.
Me and Kim went over, hung out from that. Got to tell you, oh, no. Anyway, so we go over and she sees Serre Chevalier, fell in love with it, came back and bought a chalet.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just that. Yeah. She loved it that much. And so we started a little chalet business. But you don't realise how much work that's going to be, do you? And you want to go...
I know exactly how much work that
yeah,
is.
of course you do.
What was your one called?
What do we call it? High Rock Chalet.
High Rocks. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. It's only a tiny concern. It wasn't huge.
No, well, I mean, most of them were pretty small, weren't they? Ours wasn't a big deal, really.
No. But it's a lot of work, especially doing transfers and things like that. But, so Kim ended up doing that. She doesn't do it anymore. She's still there. She's still there.
No way.
But she just remodeled the chalet into just her home now. And I go over and stay with her even now. But, so I ended up going to live there with Kim.
No way. How long did you live there for?
About 15, 16 years.
What? I didn't know. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So you're almost of, like, what do they call them? Francophile, not Francophile. Anglophile.
Yeah. I mean...
So what were you doing over there?
Just playing music. Literally.
Really?
Oh, and we run a couple of bars as well, but that's a whole... This is where it all goes terribly pear-shaped. I don't
know if you want to get into that, but there is... Well, no. Just because I've talked about this with Ed Lee and a few other people, and it did seem that snowboarding was an easy place to, if you were partial to a drink or, used it as a crutch or whatever, snowboarding was an easy gig because there's never an excuse not to have a pint after riding or whatever. You're in the mountains and everybody's, the culture's just like that. And I think there's quite a lot of people that have found themselves, years and years in and coming out of it thinking, actually, shit, I'm drinking way too much because it's just part of the culture.
Well, I was already a heavy drinker even when I was at Document. I didn't drink spirits, but I'd have a few beers every night.
Yeah.
you know, when you play in bands and stuff and you get given drinks, and, you know, who cares?
Yeah, totally.
Sorry, we'll lead into this because I think it's quite important. We do mention it because it's quite a thing. I mean, if you ask me at the end of this, sum up what snowboarding means to you, I'd just say I think it was Lance Mountain said skateboarding gave him the ability to stay as juvenile for as long as possible. Something like that, is, you know, stay as stupid for as long as possible. That's how I'd sum up snowboarding, and this is why, is because when I went to visit Bud was working in the Extreme Bar and met a lot of French people and a lot of other people. And then when we went back and lived there, you know, you just realise that everybody in France is quite boozy. And I thought, well, this is life for me, you know.
100%.
This is nobody makes me feel guilty if I have a couple of beers, you know. Or, you know, so I thought this is absolutely brilliant. But and we there was the Grotte Yeti bar, and then so I'm trying not to skip too much. The chalet fold and everything, and basically I was playing music. This leads into Bud Gallimore a lot.
So
more.
what, like sort of like Ep8 pitching up with a band? You know, did you have a band? And
well, when I first arrived in Sachet, I bumped it. There was a band there called the Harper Brothers. And, you know, we used to see him play in the bars all the time. And I thought, well, hang on, I can do any of this shit. How did you get into this?
Yeah.
But anyway, just so turned out that the following winter, this is going for his hardcore punk band, you know, I mean, I've been a punk rocker since 1977, you know what I mean? He told I've had many a story.
Yeah.
McKnight, I've had a few stories about punk rock, actually. But, I went from being this punk rock bass player in the UK. I played guitar in a Blues Brothers tribute band for my first season.
Wicked. You have to get dressed up and everything.
No, but the thing is, this is where things sort of started to change for the good musically for me, because I had to suddenly learn things that I would never consider playing.
Yeah, sure.
Listen to that, let alone play it. I'm a punk rocker.
Yeah.
But I had to, because I had to eat. So my bass player, Rick, bless him, I'd borrow his Stratocaster and go and play this Blues Brothers tribute. But in the meantime, I started doing other things. One of the things I did at that point was started teaching Bud Gallimore to play guitar.
Right.
We sat round in the evenings, and Bud, that kid learned to sing. So kid.
Not kid anymore. Was he probably like 45 or something?
Two kids. He learned guitar so quick to, you know, we could go out and gig just a duo, and we used to just play stupid songs. But what me and Bud had was the ability to make each other laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And that used to feed into the audience. And this turns into a hell of a story. We started doing that. We did more and more through the winter, you know, and ended up playing all the time. And, you know, getting paid quite well.
Yeah.
So Bud's like, yes, let's go. So gets to the end of the winter. We've got our pockets, you know, we've got some pennies in our pockets. What should we do now then? He said, do you reckon we could do this down south, round on Tea and all that place? He said, yeah. I said, let's go. So we loaded up his Mondeo, bought for him by Burton Snowboards, I seem to remember. And off we did, bought this tiny little PA system. But it was just this funniest thing. We got to Antibes, but the reason we headed to Antibes was because Luby was there, Bud's sister.
Yeah.
She used to rent boats to Diddy or something. Anyway, we get to Antibes where Luby's flat was, and we're basically looking at the Med. So we're going to hit the bottom road, it's, you know, the one that goes along the coast.
Yeah.
Bud looked at me, he said, left or right? And I looked left, and I saw a Ferris wheel. I went left, right, because I could see a fairground. So we'd go there, turn left. Cut a long story short, the first campsite we go into is called the Pelon campsite. And the girl on the gate tells us, no, I don't book gigs here. You have to go to the restaurant. It's a separate concern. So, okay. Right. Go to the next gate, press the buzzer, and this deep French voice says, hello. said, "Hi, yeah, we're a band." He went, "Come in." Right. So me and Bud drive into this private area at the back of the restaurant. Just turned out he was expecting a band to go and see it. And I only just said band, and he heard, "And on the gate."
Yeah.
But are in there, like. So we go in and we play this demo we had of us playing a jam song in a fuck knows what. Anyway, that we recorded in the studio in Saoirse, Clyde's studio. Go in there, we play this tape. A couple of English people sat having their lunch. They were staff. A couple of English staff were having their lunch just over the way. And a couple of them started singing along. And I looked at Bill, I said, "We'll be all right." So anyway, he says, "Yeah, I'll have you." He said, "I want you to do every Tuesday, and I'll give you 250 euros. Me and Bud are like that. Get in. Right. That's that sorted, right? First place we went to, just because we saw a bloody Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
It was right next to Aqualand as well. So we got woken up not by a cockerel, but by a seal every morning. Run. Fucking morning. We're living in a tent and this thing was just barking at us, you know. But me and Bud had one hell of a summer down there that year. And we did it the following year as well. But we got to the point where we had so much money. We went to this one place, Rio's Banana Bar. It was a gay bar. It still is a gay bar. It's in Juan Le Pan. We went down there and walked in, and we were talking to the guy. I'm trying to remember his name. Bud will be able to tell you. And I said, we got to the point where we were talking about money, which is always horrible. You know, you never want to say how much. Yeah. And he said, "How much do you charge?" And I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, tap Bud on the shoulder, you know, like I'm conferring with him. I said, "I'll tell you what, we'll do it for the same as we do down the road, 150. And he said, "What, each?" And I went, and I realised he was serious. I went, "Yeah." Like this. But I had to turn away, right? So we're now on 450 a week, you know, without even trying, right? Plus we've got the hop store down the road, which is another 150. Plus whatever we do in the daytime if we decide to go busking. I mean, you go to Cannes. I've got a tenner for playing a really shitty rendition of All Along the Watchtower. I mean, it's just easy. You know what I mean? Got a guitar, you can feed yourself. So anyway, we're living in a tent. This tent is so big that you can park the Mondeo in it. 3-bedroom thing. And so Bud's one side, I'm the other. And the middle one at the back has got our kit in and our clothes. And it's literally under everything. We're just stuffing cash all the time. What happens next is we're down on the beach in Biot, which is opposite the campsite. And we're taking our guitars on just to have a little practice workout a couple of times. I think it was Kasabian song we were doing. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you that. See, I've gone off again. Here we go. It gets worse. And we sat there strumming, and all of a sudden this little French fella comes wandering over and says, "Would you like to come and play on the terrace of my burger van thing?" And we're like, "Yeah, if you like." So sitting on the pebbles. So he said, "That's no problem." He said, "You can. I'll feed you and give you beers until you're done."
Yeah.
So we're now getting paid to rehearse.
To practice.
I mean, we're called the Anywho's, right? That was our name we came up with.
Yeah.
And you know, we're actually making a good little living down in the south of France where we're stashing money.
But that, I mean, yeah, I mean that's definitely kind of something you do at a time in your life, but that I sort of feel that isn't necessarily a sustainable lifestyle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, well, Bud obviously saw that. I didn't, not for another 10 years, I don't think.
Right.
But, you know, that's all I'm good at is playing music, so I'm going to use it to my advantage. But no, Bud went off. Bud went off and he does a lot in TV now and films a lot of music videos.
Right.
He does some great stuff. Don't know if you've seen that, what are they called now? It's gone out of my head now. It's where they orchestrated their songs. What are they called? The band that did Pompeii, I can't think of it. It's just gone out of my head.
I don't know.
Called Pompeii.
Anyway, that's oh shit! I know who that is. I do know who that is. I can't think of it.
One word.
Not Jungle.
Oh, Bastille.
Bastille. That's it.
Yeah, bloody Bastille. Yeah.
Quite a French name as well, funnily enough.
Friend Nick Lithgow's tours with him, and I still didn't remember. In fact, he's in the same. He's in the same thing. Yeah, but when they did this orchestration thing, it came up. I noticed it came up then. It's on Prime Video, and it came up then. It said, Bud Gallimore, director of photography, and I said,
"Wow, that's cool."
Yeah. I said, I texted him. I said, I just saw your name, blah, 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 director of photography. He said, I don't know what the fuck for. I was only there for about 20 minutes. But,
that's the gig.
But yeah, we had this ace rapport on stage. We just made people laugh. But the following year, we had a bit of a fallout when we were playing at Rio's Banana Bar on stage. We used to just drink cider and have a tequila after it. So you're absolutely flying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, sometimes you got a bit angry with each other. And we had a bit of a row one night. And so we weren't talking the next day. Anyway, I went round to Bud's. Oh, we'd progressed now. We were living in caravans now, right?
Nice.
I went round to Bud's caravan and said, "Oh, where's the money from last night?" He went, "Yeah, you tell me." He said, "You gave it back." I said, "Don't think so, Bud. I wouldn't do such a thing." He said, "You gave it them back." Said, "Because we stopped early." I said, No. He said, I said, "Give me your." I didn't have a phone at the time. I said, "Give me your phone." So I rang up the bus. I was like, "Yeah, back last night. Did we leave the money with you?" He said, "Yeah, you said you didn't want it." I said, "Yeah, I sort of do though." And he said, "Yeah, well, Bud said I could keep it because you didn't do a full show." I went, because Bud obviously hasn't heard that. Because I'm like, "Oh, did he?" Okay, I think Bud needs to earn this money. So anyway, next thing you know, he's going to hate me for telling you this. His forfeit to get the money back next time we went down to Rio's Banana Bar was he had to crawl along the bar naked in the gay bar.
Brilliant.
I can't remember if he kept his pants on in the end. He might have negotiated pants.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think he did. I didn't look. But yeah, so that was the sort of fun we were having.
So while you were doing like summers in Antibes and winters in Serre Chevalier, were you snowboarding much?
I did for quite a time, but it's like a lot of things I do, Chris. I tend to go into them really hard, and then I put myself out on them. And it was only Jeremy, bless him, few years ago. I was talking to him late one night on Messenger, Cake Face Messenger, whatever it's called. Do you remember Cake Face in White Lines? That was hilarious.
I do remember Cake Face in White Lines, yeah.
Stroke of genius.
We should track it down. There's a podcast in that somewhere, isn't there?
Cake Face. Wouldn't it? There's a job for somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we? We were talking about...
well, just about doing seasons and still snowboarding. You said that you sort of...
Oh, yeah, Jeremy, bless him, at TSA... Jeremy Sladen, he was talking to him like one night on Messenger, and he just said, "Yeah, you're not riding." I said, just haven't got the love. I said, everything I got's really old now because I've been there quite a few years by then, and I hadn't bought anything. I didn't know how to buy things at that point. Bloody horror story. When Reef decided when John Plackett down at the Water Sports decided they weren't sending me shoes anymore, I got to the shoe shop in Serre Chevalier and went, "Fucking size am I?" Just trying to send me shoes for so many years. I don't know what I am now. Am I 8? Am I 9?
Things got more expensive as well, didn't they?
Yeah. So, what was I saying? I've forgotten again.
Well, we were talking about
I'm fucking useless.
like snowboarding, but sort of maybe losing the love for snowboarding.
Oh yeah. Jeremy sent me a board actually, and he sent me a board over, and somebody sorted me out some bindings. They were Muse bindings. Where did they come from? Can't remember, but they had these. I've still got them. They're in Sachet at Kim's. A red binding, and it says Muse across the front. I can't remember who did them now, but they were really good. Anyway, so I started snowboarding again. But it was the same as me with skateboarding. I realised I just didn't have anybody to go with anymore. All my mates were older and having kids, like Colin, and he was having kids, and just nobody hang out with, really. So I got a bit, I don't know, once you stop for a while, I don't know. I used to get these, but then, if I hadn't bought a season pass, it was seriously expensive to go up for a day pass. Yeah. Couldn't always flag it, could sometimes, but not always. So, and again, this is what we've got to get into, really. I was just drinking too much, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out every night playing pretty much.
Yeah.
There was one point, I think there was one point that in 1 4-week period, I did 13 gigs.
Right.
It's great financially, but my liver fucking hated me. I mean, I was really bad. Just boozing up the mountain for lunchtime.
Yeah.
Beers at lunchtime when we play up there. Après ski, and then evening, which starts at 10.
Yeah, that's a long day.
Hell of a long day. And I did that for a whole month at one point.
Yeah.
I say 13 gigs a week. 10 to 13 gigs a week would be more of a... No, 12. I don't know. It was a lot anyway. But boozing all the way through it. And so, don't wake up at 7 in the morning then.
No. But did you reach a point where you sort of look at... Because, I mean, sort of for me, there was a period of, I think, 5 or 6 years where I didn't go to the mountains. And it was really troubling me. Do you know what I mean? I miss the mountains. And I was there and when I'm there now, I'm like, I have to make the most of this. Like when we're in Kianatel at the end of the season, on the last day, I think there's going to be, it might have already come out by the time this comes out, but basically I needed a shit from about 11 o'clock in the morning, but we just didn't stop. We just kept doing more runs because it was like, this is the last day. This is the last day, and this is as good. These are good times, like you don't want to put an end to it. So,
no, right, yeah.
So I'm just thinking about like you're living in Serre Chevalier, a beautiful part of the world.
That's amazing.
And, you're around all these people that, holiday makers that go there for that reason. They go up the mountain, like you're seeing them at lunchtime on the mountain, playing to them, entertaining them, but like not actually doing the thing that would have originally got you there in the first place. Yeah, and obviously then you sort of throw in, you sort of add on top, like, I don't know if it's a habit or whatever, or whether it's just because everybody else is doing it. But like, it gets a bit serious when, you're drinking that much, that often. Like, did you come to a point where you realized that maybe things weren't really ideal? And did you sort it out yourself, or did it take someone to kind of stop you and sort of shed a bit of perspective on what was going on?
Right.
And you don't need to talk about this if you don't want to.
No, I want to, because there's a lot of people who think, I say a lot of people, I know people think I may have exaggerated the situation. Sure, I didn't at all. Sorry, that's the wrong way to put it. What I should say is people don't actually know how bad it was.
Yeah.
All right? That's what I should be saying.
Yeah.
And my brother came to me once and said, look, you're drinking too much. I had friends saying, you're drinking too much, people like Mike Rollins. And, he said, you're yellow, man. I was like, shut up, fine. Anyway, what happened was we, as well as playing in the bands, I mean, we used to do crazy stuff. Like we drove to Germany and played in some German ski resort for the British Army for 2 nights. We drove from Serre.
That's a long way.
We drove from Serre Chevalier to a place called Ringer in Denmark. Played a week up there. Drove to Denmark from Serre Chevalier. What the fuck were we thinking? Anyway, we did. But all the time, the reason I'm telling you that is because when on that Denmark trip, we got to a little ferry. We had to get this little ferry. I just finished my overnight shift of driving and swapped all seats, and I sat down next to Clive. Clive hands me a bottle of wine. This is 5 a.m, right? 6 and he handed me a bottle of wine, and we went, boom. I went, no, Clive, too early for wine. He went, yeah, you're right. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I had to have a beer then, because he'd opened it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the sort of shit we used to get up to all the time. And but then Clive owned 2 bars, you see. He owned he owned 3 in Serre, but sold one to Borough, and he had the other 2. And the second one was for me. That was going to be my venture.
Right.
Met a French girl called Lauren, and that was running this bar, but all the time, kid in a sweet shop.
Yeah.
Lauren didn't help matters. We ended up married. And and then she fucked off with somebody else when the money ran out. So that was that. That's enough to say about that. She's got in touch recently, let's say, but
I mean, you know, like the idea of running a bar, I've seen it myself in Les Arc. Like people that I knew running a bar, and you just think this can't end well, because, and you sort of see how somebody coming in at the start, fresh face, full of energy, you know, 3 years later is washed out, you know, put on loads of weight, just fucked, never going up the mountain. And it's like, that's not the dream, is it? That wasn't the dream that you thought you were signing up for.
Not what I was there for, no, not at all. But anyway, we started we had these bars and we played music, and then we drank a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is what I'm getting to, is that with that, I decided to, when me and Lawrence split up, I just thought, fuck it, I'll go down to the south of France. So I went back down to the campsite that me and Bud used to play, and started working there just to get out of there. But I took some tablets one day, and not long after I'd got there, I was staying with my friend Joe for the night, staying at her place. Anyway, sorry, I've got to go back a bit. Back in Saint-Chevalier, I know what date it was, because it was Clive's birthday. It's the 5th of September. And the guy, you know, singer from the band. Anyway, I was having a shave, and I just clipped myself right there on my chin. Tiniest little thing.
Yeah.
Tapped it with a tissue, you know, some tissue. Anyway, we've gone over to the Plansted Hotel for Clive's birthday in Saint-Chevalier. And I keep dabbing it and dabbing it and dabbing it. Anyway, cut long story short again, 2 hours later, it's still bleeding.
Right.
And Mike Collins, who's very trained in, you know, first aid and everything, because he's a mountaineer, you know, he's like never knew it now. Oh, community camps, they were fucking great. Absolutely great. Anyway, went over there, and Mike, after like 2 hours, he said, fuck this. He said, hospital, come on. Mike takes me down the hospital, because he very fluent French speaker, having lived in Saint-Chevalier for 30 years, I think, or 25 years or something. Yeah. Anyway, he just gets me down there, and they've just said, well, your liver doesn't work.
Fuck.
What? They said, you're not producing, you've got no plasma, you just come back tomorrow. So anyway, turns out that I was very ill. Shit. So with that, they tell me, in no uncertain terms, you either stop drinking, you're going to die very, very, very soon.
Wow.
At that point, the next day, that was the point they told me. It said, you either stop drinking or you die. So anyway, that wasn't really our decision.
That's what's interesting. Is it a hard decision? Because there's I now know the consequences of this, but the habit is so kind of ingrained.
Yeah. Mm.
Is it an easy decision to make, or is it actually the reality of it more tricky than it would seem?
When I was faced with dying, or drinking, was not our choice. Death is a fucking hell of a motivator.
I can imagine.
But that's not the end of it, really, because I started seeing doctor in a French doctor, and I saw a doctor called Dr. Genticourt, her name was, Italian doctor as well. Anyway, at this point, I decided I was going to fuck off down to the south of France, so off I went. While I was down there, first night staying at Joe's. I've been down there staying at the campsite, but and when I moved on, I was staying at Joe's. I felt a bit weird. So I went back to Joe's, and I was talking to Joe's, and she said, do you want something to eat? And I said, no, not really, and stuff. Anyway, she had to go out and work that evening, and I was at home with her kids. I went to bed. In the night, I thought I needed the loo, got up to use the bathroom, and projectile vomited blood all over the wall and down this sofa, right? Falling over. I couldn't stand up because of the loss of blood. I got no blood in my brain, you know. Yeah. So it's falling over. Anyway, I make myself go back to bed, right? Just crawl back in there. Anyway, the next morning I tell Joe, And she said, look, you're really not very well. I said, oh, it's nothing. It'll go away. It'll disappear.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, next day I'm down at a guy called Alan, drummer from a band at just South Coast, around Côte d'Azur, called Blah Blah. I was staying at Little Al's house. There's 2 Alans in the band. Anyway, Little Al drummer, I was staying at his house. He's popped out for 5 minutes. He's got his mate there. I went to the loo, came back. And so I went to the loo, and then the next thing I knew, his mate was pulling me off the toilet. But I wasn't on the toilet anymore. I was down the side of it, that just crumbled.
Right.
So they called an ambulance. They made me go to hospital because I kept saying, I'm all right. I'll be all right in a minute. I'll be fine. Then all I wanted to do was go to sleep.
Yeah.
Anyway, that ended up being 5 days in intensive care and 5 weeks in Juan-le-Pan Hospital, where my insides had literally exploded. And I literally just fell apart, completely and utterly fell apart. Yeah. It was horrible. It's crap. So yeah, 5 weeks later, they moved me to this hospital, and I came out. That night, the Blah Blahs were playing, coincidentally, so I went along to their gig. Yo-Yo, blessing the place bear, took one look at me, gave me his free meal, because I looked so fucking ill. He gave me his food that the bar had given him to play, you know what I mean? Yeah. Burger and chips, bless him. And anyway, so it turned out, I didn't have anywhere to stay that night. So the night I came out of hospital, I slept in a doorway in a square on Eve. Thank fuck it was summer.
Oh my God, man.
About 5 in the morning, Chris, I'm not kidding you. About 5 in the morning, it's fucking a truck comes past, a bin lorry comes past. And this bin lorry guy steps off the back of the truck, and he's got an unopened bottle of beer. And he had, he just looked at me like I was nuts because I'm sleeping in the doorway and I don't drink. You know what I mean? Yeah. Freaked him right up. But anyway, bless her, Kim, superstar, then grabs one of our friends and pays for him to drive from Serre Chevalier to Monty, pick me up and drive me back. And the guy who took me back, Steve, unbeknown to me, said on the way back to another friend of ours, he said, they rang up and said, is he all right? And he said, well, he's in the car. That's all he could say about me. I was that ill, really. And it took a long time to get well again.
I can imagine.
So, yeah. One thing is weird is how your brain rewires.
Right.
I think I've had this conversation with Eddie.
Explain that. Explain what you mean by that.
I just found that I must have been suppressing my brain so much with alcohol over the years that when I stopped drinking, I couldn't control. My brain was just all over the place. I remember being out with Dave, I was singing with Dave, I was in the strain, being at a festival, I'm just saying, like, I can't concentrate on anything for more than about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's nothing to do with snowboarding.
No, but it is interesting. As I've said, I do think that a lot of people have kind of used the lifestyle of snowboarding to mask other issues or
just enabled me to keep drinking for decades.
Yeah. Exactly that. Exactly that. I mean, when we lived in France, like when I moved back, I definitely knew that I couldn't have stayed living in France for the rest of my life because just there was never a reason not to, sort of crack a beer or have a glass of wine. Like everyone's doing it, so you just. And I know that I haven't got the capacity to be like, no, that's not me anymore. No,
I don't have an off switch either.
No, I'm the same.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure there's a few people like Neil McNabb or Stu or. I've got some great stories about everyone, but they could probably tell you about me being so drunk somewhere that something happened. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, remember?
Well, I mean, at the time, it was, certainly, especially in the 90s as well. Like, lad culture, snowboarding culture. Like, I think there was a period where I didn't even pay for a beer because everything we went to, the beers were free. So you just get like, right, okay, well, this is great. Right. I'm going to make full use of this. So it's almost like encouraged, isn't it? And then, because snowboarding wasn't such a sort of athlete-driven thing as well. So, like,
No,
everyone,
style.
everyone was,
Danny, about style.
but like everyone was out, weren't they? You know, it wasn't like high stakes competitions. It might have been kind of in some of the big Americans or whatever. But,
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
you know, certainly at our level, it was like it's a get together. It's a social. You know, like it was a sort of catch net for all the people that didn't fit in anywhere else. So
Yeah.
and you'd all get together and obviously
It would
let
be
loose.
great. I mean, I'm sure that you people do it anyway, but it'd be great to get like Eddie over and stuff at the I don't know, at the Brits or the board test or something again.
Yeah,
He mentioned it to me several times. In fact, you know, coming over and doing. I speak to Eddie quite often. I'll tell you what, Chris. Do you want to hear Eddie's call to me the other day when? No, you probably don't, but it's quite funny. I'd have to find it. This is the sort of conversations I have with Eddie. Such a nice chap. Where's he gone? There it is.
Hold it near the microphone.
Yeah.
Seems like a pain in the ass to me, but why it didn't work? Because your phone is your phone, or if you could do it, is it with? That will be a great listen, Ash. That will be good. Can you just use your phone?
I was talking about when we couldn't get this working the other day.
Yeah.
Is that why it didn't work? Because your phone to me, talking now.
Maybe it's not that one. Oh no, it's that one. It's that one. That's why. Hang on.
Do you record all your calls?
In
Voice note.
So Jamie Baker was going out with.
Jamie Baker spoke to him quite recently.
It was New Year, and we had this massive fire, and they ended up shooting. We all ended up shooting fireworks up at the church bell on New Year's Eve, and trying to send fireworks up to the church bell and ding it. But there was this massive argument, and I don't know if you were there or not, but yeah, good to see Jamie. God, you must.
That's not the one. Oh, Chris, you know what I'm like with this shit. I'm fucking useless.
Yeah, I'll tight the foxes. I just need to make sure Fox doesn't get in my studio.
Anyway, I'll have a. You just use your phone, or have you got to do it? Is it with that German girl? And she was a little bit mad, and it was New Year, and then this.
Come on, turn Eddie off.
Yeah. He's just rambling on now.
He is just rambling.
No, he's calling me from the toilet, informing me that he was having a shit.
Oh, well, that's nice of him.
I thought I had the right recording, but anyway.
Royalty of British snowboarding, Eddie.
That's right. Yeah. No etiquette whatsoever.
So obviously you must have got well, or got well enough.
Yeah,
because you're still speaking to us.
Well, yeah. Well, what happened then was my mother, bless her, she died recently. She insisted that I come back, but I'll be very truthful. I always planned to come back when Mum got a bit older anyway, because my brother's 8 years older than me, and it'd be totally unfair for me to be fucking raped playing guitars and drums in France.
Yeah.
And being here, having to look after me elderly mother. So I always had a plan to come back. I knew I'd be back if Mum got old, when Mum got old. So the timing was sort of all right as well. Kick-started me coming back, pretty much getting very ill.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was scary. And then I came back here, and I was so thin. I used to, although I was always quite slim, I was always quite trim. I was always quite. My body was always quite good. And I can remember. I remember lying in the hospital one day, and I pulled the sheets back like that. This is back in Japan. I pulled the sheets back. I thought, the fucking hell's legs are those? Where's my legs? And they were so stick thin, I hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought, I'm not looking like this. I look like a bag of shit. So I went and worked in a plumbing warehouse, and I still do, because all these people going to the gym lifting weights. I just moved 25 kilogram radiators around and stuff. Just does the same.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Chris, the first few months working that job, moving radiators and plumbing shit like that, I used to get home, I'd sit down in my beanbag and literally fall asleep till the next morning. Yeah. I was absolutely shattered, but I got stronger again. So, it was all right. I didn't mind.
How long ago was like the collapse of everything?
That was about 6-7 years ago.
And how's your body healing up?
Well, I go for medicals frequently, and my heart is exceptionally strong, apparently, which is bonus. My liver is scarred, but repaired in a record time. That is really recover quickly. My kidneys, I don't know, they might, they're probably not very well. One of the French doctors did say you probably have to, in Japan said you probably have to have a kidney transplant at some point.
Right.
And so, there you go. There you go, kids. Don't get boozy.
Yeah.
Or stay away from the top shelf at least.
Keep the booze in check. And where are you with snowboarding?
I'm, because Kim's still in France as well. I did go over and see her a few months ago. And when I was sat there then, because I was there pretty much on my own most of the time, I sat on a huge balcony she's got and was just looking at the mountains, and I thought, yeah, they're calling. I can feel this now. And it just started coming back. I had that feeling coming back, you know what I mean? I went, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So this winter, I'm definitely good. And the great thing is as well, my other half, Rachel, I say my other half, my conscience, she skis as well, but I'm determined to get her snowboarding. But
going to get her to cross over.
Yeah, I think she'd love it, but we'll see. So yeah, she's a good lass. She's a good lass.
So come on, seeing as we're sort of up to date and we're heading towards an hour and a half.
Oh shoot! Yeah, okay.
No, it's all good. It's all good. There's not a time limit on it, and I think it was important to get to where we were. But I want to know obviously how we end. The big question at the end is what has snowboarding meant to you? What does it mean to you? And why should somebody else go snowboarding?
I've met some remarkable people snowboarding. People I know will be my mates forever. So that's massive for me because I'm all about the people. If you look at my bookcase at home, it's only autobiographies and biographies, apart from a Camilla Lackberg book, I think my friend Jojo gave me. So I met so many people. I mean, I've got stories about, virtually everybody you see in a magazine. I've probably got a funny story about, because that's what it was about. I used to remember all the stories, like stuff with Russ Shea, playing Buckaroo with Russ Shea in Austria, where we loaded up this Austrian guy. He had lederhosen on, and lederhosen and everything, and we still played Buckaroo with him, and it was great fun. Just silly things like that. Pulling Danny Wheeler from in front of a car in Andorra and saving his life when he was 18. That was quite a funny one. He probably didn't have to
ask him about that.
No, he probably won't even remember. No, I did save his life. There was a car, it was trying to get up a hill, and it's getting speeding towards us in the snow. It's that winter of a massive snowfall in Andorra. And I just went, whoa, and sort of fell back with Danny, pulled him over the snowbank that he was the other side of. But
similar thing happened actually in Morzine with him. He got run over because it was a car trying to get out of up a ramp and out onto the road.
How do they not see him?
I don't know. Maybe he's not paying enough attention.
No, probably not.
Which I can see how that might be the case.
Yeah. But yeah, community camps we had great fun on. They were wonderful, wonderful times. Yeah. So why? What does it mean to me? It gave me a much, much better outlook on the world. Really did. Opened my eyes to a lot of things that I might not have seen. I mean, your very first snowboard trip is something you will never ever forget because it's mental. Yeah. The first time you get into the mountains and you go, oh, they big. That ain't Robbinswood Hill, is it? You know what I mean? Great people. Jamie Baker, he still keeps in touch every time he drives down the M5.
I need you to give me his number, actually.
I'll ping you, yeah.
Yeah.
No problem, yeah. You got to, yeah, Jamie, I was talking to Jamie about, having a reunion over in France somewhere or something. Austria probably for Jamie though, but there we go. So what would I say to young people? Or people who are thinking about getting into snowboarding? I think you've got to do it. It's expensive, but I would say it would be very worth it. Yeah, I mean, it just opened things up for me. That's what it did for me. I mean, it cost me a marriage. Because I just went, what the fuck am I doing? Working in this shop and getting home and watch Coronation Street, and all I want to do is go out and do shit. And You know, so when suddenly I could go snowboarding every night up at Matson, up at Robinswood Hill, and so it opened the whole world up for me. That's what it did for me, and I hope it does for other people. I'm sure it did at some point, but I was quite a late comer. I was 26 when I started snowboarding.
Were you?
Yeah. I was an old boy. Yeah, but if you can go, because if you don't, you regret it. But if you go, you can always come back.
You can always come back. How about that? I hope you enjoyed that episode. It was quite a one to make and to listen back to, but I think that the points in it are very real, and I do believe that kind of those times might be catching up with people a bit. So if you do need any help relating to the subjects, the contents of this episode, then there's going to be some signposting in the show notes of people who you can get help from. But thank you, Ash, for being so open and honest and telling your story as it is in all its rawness. I do appreciate it, and thank you for everything you've done for snowboarding. You were around all the time, and your music certainly helped provide a soundtrack to those times. We did talk after this interview about the fact that Christian Stevenson had put his music onto the TV show Rad, which was obviously a big, that was a big thing back then, and it was something that they could use to trade off. And he had stories about everyone, and he's a funny guy, and we were talking just as we were putting this together about maybe doing something in the summer with some of that old Gloucester crew and some of the SS20 crew, try and maybe do something special around them. So thank you, Ash. It's massively appreciated you being so open and honest about your story. So this week, actually speaking Ash obviously being from down Gloucester way, me and my brother Dave, we were down near the Malverns. We drove past, we could see Gloucester Dry Slope in the distance as we on our way down there, and we went down there to interview Louis from Duke Snowboards, and that episode is going to be coming in a couple of weeks. And we had a fascinating time building snowboards. If you've never built I'm going to bang on about this on Louis' episode that's going to come in a couple of weeks. But really, if building a snowboard is possibly one of the most fun things you can do in snowboarding. We had a brilliant 2 days, little road trip. We don't get to spend that much time together, so it was really, really nice just to sort of be away from everything and to put our brains into a creative endeavour. And had a really good time. And Louis looked after us and showed us his craft and shared his craft with us. And we came away with 2 snowboards. The snowboard that I made is going to be given to someone on the Thank You Snowboarding Community Camp. It's a 1 of 1, designed by me, artwork by me, flex and shape and everything by me. I'm really proud of it. I think it looks sick. There will be photos on the Instagram, which you can find at Instagram. Thank You Snowboarding Podcast. Go and have a look for that. And I'm keeping the powder dry a little bit because we shot a load of footage, so we're going to put it together into a little edit. But I can tell you, I'm buzzing off the fact that I've hand built my own snowboard. It is such a pleasure to do. And you get to decide everything, like what shape, what flex, how poppy it is, how soft it is, where you put extra pop, base graphics, top sheet graphics, colours, sidewalls, the whole thing. And it's so fun. So there's going to be more details about that in a couple of weeks, and there's going to be an edit going up on the Instagram and on the YouTube, I guess, as soon as it's done. Will it be this side of Christmas? Don't know. But speaking of this side of Christmas, we have merch. First batch of merch went out today. So if you have already ordered, probably by the time you're listening to this, you should have it in your hands and be wearing it and posting pictures on the gram and tagging us in. But if you want it before Christmas, then I guess you need to hurry up. So this comes out on Thursday. I imagine Friday's going to be cutting it tight, or first class maybe Monday or over the weekend. But if you want merch, we've got T-shirts and hoodies. T-shirts 25 plus £3 postage, which actually doesn't cover the postage, but not to worry. And the hoodies are 45 plus £3 postage. And I will do my best to get them to you in time for Christmas. And also, speaking of the camp, it is filling up. We have a few spaces left. Getting really excited, having had a trip out to the snow already. I can't wait to be back. There's going to be some video of the chalet that we're staying in. It's a beautiful chalet, and it's got a sauna, and it's in Les Coches, which is part of Le Plan, which is part of the Paradisky, which is one of the best areas of all time. Nigel Brooks, Mia's dad, I was on the phone to him a few weeks ago, and he was just saying that he doesn't quite believe more people don't go there because it's so good. And I've got a feeling the Brooks family are heading to Le Plan for Christmas, and Les Coches in particular. So it seems that we've chosen well, and you'll be very welcome to join us. Again, links in the show notes if you want to know about the camp. But don't sleep. I imagine once Christmas is over, it will fill up. Once everyone goes, right, Christmas is done, when am I going snowboarding? Or I've just been given a board, or I've just bought myself a board for Christmas, or whatever. Everyone's going to be going, right, where are we going? And it will fill up. So don't sleep. If you are interested, then get in touch. Happy to have a chat on the phone or over email or whatever you need, and get you excited for a trip. So yeah, that's the 22nd of March in Les Coches, in Le Plan, in Paradisky, in France, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, building boards, planning trips. I think I'm still pretty tired after the week in the Alps that I had last week. It was good. We had all conditions, and I think it's been a little bit warm over there at the moment. But I think cold weather is due in this week. So hopefully, if you're going out for Christmas, I keep my fingers crossed that you are going to get some pow. Hopefully, but either way, there's a good base, like a real heavy stuck-in base out there at the moment. So which bodes well for the rest of the season, because a really good base means that when it gets warmer in the spring, then it will stick around for longer because it's all filled in and hard. So could be an all-time season if the snow continues to fall. So let's keep our fingers crossed, everyone. Do those snow dances if you've got one. If you have got one, and this is just a new idea that's just popped into my head, then film doing it and tag us in on the old gram. That would be nice to hear, wouldn't it? Yeah, so we got loads of episodes from Teen, so it's going to be kind of like a teen / sort of season air sort of bit of a run coming soon. Various people who live out in Teen or run camps, and also Jono, who taught my kids to snowboard out in the Three Valleys last season. We've got an interview with him from Chris Moran's house will be all the sound effects from everyone staying at Chris Moran's, including cooking and all that in the background. So that should be quite evocative, hopefully. They're all going to be coming soon. Next week is Christmas, the Christmas episode. I didn't really plan this to happen like this, but it's going to be Stuart Morgan, who used to run Oakley, and is certainly responsible for a lot of good times and a lot of sponsored riders kind of upping their game and getting into more professional situations, and him providing the means to do that. And so he's a bit of a legend. Don't really know anyone that's got a bad word to say about him. I certainly haven't got a bad word to say about him. He was very kind to me and used to hook me up for no other reason than I was out there doing it and living the life and being a snowboarder, and he saw that as reason enough to look after me. So Stuart Morgan has stories to tell for the Christmas episode. And then the week after that, which will probably be New Year's Day, is going to be Louis from Duke Snowboards. So plenty of stuff coming up. God, man, it feels like the season's already racing away with us. What are we at? We're at episode, is this 8? Oh, I don't know, man. It's going to be spring soon, then spring break. So, yeah, I can't wait till then either. Hopefully have a couple more holidays. Not holidays, they're not holidays, they're always work. When I go away snowboarding, it's always work. Have to keep remembering that. I have to keep telling my wife that. Yeah, I'm rambling massively. So, yeah, I think that's it for this week. Obviously, shout out to the Snowboard Asylum, who always look after snowboarders, have the best knowledge and the best staff and everything. Shout out to Joy and Bowman, who were out in Teen. Yeah, Snowboard Asylum, been looking after snowboarders forever. If you're coming on the camp, you get a 15% discount, which is worth it. But even if you're not getting a discount, then do go and see them. They've got more knowledge, more years of experience, and more love for snowboarding than any other retailer in the country by a mile. So please do go and see them. Go and hang out. Go and watch a video. Go and just shoot the shit with them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it, and you'll get what you need. Also, shout out to Dan and Lizzie from Burton, who hooked me up with some kit. Worked really well in all the conditions I had out in the Alps last week. Worked really, really well. Their AK stuff kept me dry in the rain. I was pretty pleased about that. The boots that are now on their 3rd season, not overly used, but still the best comfy boots I've ever had. And the board is a 160 Grillmaster with a set of Cartel EST bindings, and it all works brilliantly. So thank you, Dan and Lizzie. I do appreciate you. Those Anon goggles also worked really, really well. They come with a spare lens, which is always useful. I don't know why you'd sell a pair of goggles without a spare lens, really. But yeah, having spares and is always good. And they worked really well, didn't fog up at all. Again, in all conditions, worked brilliantly. So yeah, shout out to Burton and on for the good stuff. Also shout out to 420. Gemma down in Cornwall providing me with CBD teas. She's a snowboarder and she's making CBD teas which just help calm things a little bit when things are a little bit manic. And I like them. They taste great. They come in 4 flavours. Gemma's a total legend, except the time when she drove my Land Rover off the edge of a road on the road down from actually Les Coches, where the camp is going to be. Yeah, a legend, except for that day when she was a bit less of a legend. But there you go. We still love you, Gemma, and thank you for the tea. Massively appreciate it. Right, I am proper rambling, so let's go. I hope your run up to Christmas is going well. I hope if you've asked for some new kit of any description, I hope there's a snowboard shaped parcel under your tree now. And yeah, I hope this festive season doesn't stress you out too much. There will be an episode on Christmas Day, as I said, with Stuart Morgan, and then another episode on New Year's Day with Louis from Duke Snowboards, and there'll be an edit of how to make a snowboard up on the Instagram, so keep an eye out for that. Also be on the YouTube. I haven't sorted out the playlist update yet, but I'll be doing that. And yeah, and merch if you want it, get in touch in time for Christmas. And I think that's it. Keep doing those snow dances. It's coming soon. You'll be in the Alps soon if you haven't already been. And of course, as always, thank you, snowboarding. Peace.